Hi, thank you so much, everyone. So I'm Minal here from Taman Tugu. Thank you so much for hearing. I know we have people from all over the different time zones, so I'll try to be quick. I'm Minal from Taman Tugu, and I work in the management of Taman Tugu, and I'm here today to share about this park in the city. So Taman Tugu is a 66-acre regenerated forest and green lung located in the heart of the city amidst various heritage and cultural sites. We are really close by to the Cultural Academy of Malaysia, the Independence Square, to our Perdana Botanical Gardens, which is a legacy by the British, who we've left this beautiful garden here in Kuala Lumpur, the National Museum, the Islamic Arts Museum, many other various cultural sites, and the National Monument, which is Tugu Negara, is located at the foot of this park. Hence the name of this park, Taman Tugu. Taman means park, Tugu means monument. So this is the monument park. Given its location, this site was prime and it was very much valued, and there were a lot of developers who wanted to take on the site and develop it into some sort of commercial development. There was also someone who wanted to turn this site into a for-profit theme park. But there was a lot of pushback by environmental NGOs and civil societies, as this was one of the last remaining green lungs around this vicinity. And by removing it, it would cause an imbalance to the ecosystem and carbon displacement. Thankfully, the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund, Khazanah Nasional, decided to take this on as a social project to preserve this green lung, regenerate the forest within it, and to ensure that it's protected into perpetuity. What this means was we set up a trust similar to the National Trust in the UK, which now owns, manages, and will protect this site into perpetuity. So as part of the preservation and conservation works, we work with many different organizations and people. So one of them is we worked with the Forest Research Institute of Malaysia, FRIM, and many arborists to identify trees existing within the site, which are healthy indigenous Malaysian forest trees to be preserved. We identified and tagged more than 1,000 trees to be preserved, and these trees cannot be harmed and cannot be removed from its existing location. Additionally, to accelerate the forest regeneration, we planted more than 4,000 indigenous Malaysian forest trees from more than 200 over species. We worked with the Malaysian Nature Society of Malaysia, with FRIM, with the Forestry Department, to identify the species. One of the criteria being their endangerment status. More than 1,000 trees are endangered or critically endangered on the IUCN Red List. And this is because we want the site to conserve these trees and to eventually rehabilitate them back into the site, into the wild. And the other criteria is the type of fruit or flowering species that they produce. This is because we want to attract various different fauna into the site to enhance the biodiversity of the site, to promote ecosystem, including natural pollination. Since we started works on ground till now, we have seen that there has been an increase in the types of birds. We even hear a hornbill at the site, and it's said that we have now more than 1,000 different species of flora and fauna which can be found within the site. As we were creating the trails, it was discovered that the site used to be an illegal dumping ground. There were many items from construction debris to household items to even toys. Where we could, we used some of these items. Either we use them back into the trails, or we used, like the sofa set, we used it in our office, but it's clean, of course. And the rest, we ensured that they were recycled. We have removed more than 200 truckloads of rubbish, and it was everything from planting of the trees to clearing of the rubbish to creation of the trails. They were all done manually. Some of these trees were about 8 to 10 meters tall. We got about 10 to 20 guys to carry these trees into the site, to plant them and to care for them. The reason why we didn't want to use heavy machinery is because we wanted to ensure that no trees were harmed and that the terrain itself was not harmed. The park has been open since September 2018. We have more than 6 kilometers of forest trails, children's play area, covered rest areas, open classrooms, educational nursery. We have food trucks on weekends, open activation spaces, changing room, restrooms, and shower facilities, and even a car park. This site, historically, was formerly home to British residences and government quarters. As you walk the trails, you will see ruins of some of the British colonial buildings, and we have integrated them into the trails. So as you walk the trails, you'll have a bit of an interesting history lesson there. Also, as a legacy of its past, there are existing places of worship within the site, an Islamic madrasa and a Hindu temple, which are both still actively used up to this day. As this is a social project, we did not want to displace any communities, and hence we have kept these structures and we have enhanced them to better serve the community. All the structures that we have built within the site, we have ensured that they are subservient to the environment, meaning when we design the spaces, we ensure that we use minimal energy, no air conditioning, minimal lights or fans. The materials used are environmentally friendly, and we have designed them to ensure that these structures blend into nature. We have also incorporated some elements to reduce the negative environmental impacts, such as the rainwater harvesting system and compost bins. The water collected from the rainwater harvesting system, we use them in our toilets, in our sinks, in our taps, and we also use them to water the plants. And the compost bins are there. Members of the public can come. They can leave their raw vegetable skins or fruit skins, and we compost them. And the compost, we use them back to the plants, for the plants. Since the beginning, the kickoff of the project, from the development stage up to before its opening, we have gotten everyone involved. We held public engagement sessions, we held surveys in the designing stage to get members of the public to give us their input and feedback on what they would like for this park to be. And we got thousands of replies, feedback. And also, like, as we were almost completing the park, we got children to come and help us plant like the shrubs or the smaller plants. And this is to instill a sense of ownership and stewardship in them. After all, this park is a public park for the people and for the generations to come. As mentioned, this park is managed and protected by the National Heritage Trust called Amanah Warisan Negara, AWAN for short. It's a non-profit trust and it was modeled after the National Trust in the UK. We consulted members from the National Trust in the UK to help us visualize and come up with a framework for this trust. It has fully been established. It's fully established now. Taman Tugu is the first asset of this trust with a longer term objective to own other assets of heritage value and national significance. Other than just coming to the park to hike, to connect with nature, to learn more about the biodiversity and plants, we have various activities every week for the community. We have various activities for different age groups, for different demographics of the community. All of these are mostly free. We have educational activities. We have health and wellness activities, yoga and Zumba. Both are free. You just have to come. For yoga, bring your own mats. We also have various cultural activities. Most of these activities are all free. If there is a small fee, it's a very low donation fee, and this is because we want to be as inclusive as possible. As I mentioned, the park is being managed by a non-profit trust. The small fee that we collect goes back into ensuring to maintaining the park, to help us sustain the park. We have various fundraising methods, such as adoption of park elements, like someone can adopt a bench within the park, they can adopt a trail, they can adopt one of the covered rest areas. They can sponsor our programs, our educational programs. The park and spaces within the park can be rented out for private events. And we also sell merchandise like our t-shirts, our glass bottles, shampoo bars, soaps. So if you're in KL, hopefully once this pandemic is over, do come by and explore nature right here in the city. You don't have to go far, and have fun. Before I end, in these trying times, 2020 has been really interesting. Malaysia underwent a lockdown in March, but in May it was loosened, and the park was closed from March to May. And when we reopened, we saw our number of visitorship just doubled. And we think it's because it's as we were one of the first parks that opened right after the lockdown was loosened. And also we had really tight controls in place. We wanted to ensure that everyone's safety was of utmost importance at that time. So what we did was we ensured that the trails were created in a one direction loop, entry one way, exit one way. We limited the number of people in the trails at one point. We scanned everyone's temperatures. The public restrooms, shower facilities were cleaned every hour. And these were some of the few things that we did. Thank you so much for your time to just listen over this brief overview of Taman Tugu. For more information, you can head to our website, tamantuguproject.com.my. We also have our social media, Facebook and Instagram page, Friends of Taman Tugu. This is where we engage with our community and keep them up to date. Thank you so much for listening.